Hi, my name is Teresa McCullough, and I teach 7th grade language arts at the JYMS Middle School in Baraboo, Wisconsin. I'm here today to talk to you about standards-based grading for language arts. In language arts, we have 4 standards that you would see on our report card. Reads, comprehends, and analyzes grade level text, produces writing appropriate to audience, task, and purpose, uses standard conventions, including mechanics, grammar, and vocabulary, and engages in collaborative discussions and demonstrates public speaking skills. Under each of these standards, there are a lot of sub-skills that we teach. So we break them down to something called essential learning targets. On our board, you might find a couple learning targets when you walk into the classroom. Here are some examples. We'll activate our prior knowledge to make connections to the text through class discussions. And we will record important information on a graphic organizer. Both of these learning targets would fall under this standard: reads, comprehends, and analyzes grade level text. At the end of the class, we often give something called an exit ticket. This is a type of assessment that helps us to see whether they understood the material that was presented to them that day. On my board, I always state 3 things. Today I will, which would follow with the objective for the day or the learning target. Then I'll know I've got it when, so the students can look up and see what they've completed and understand if they met the target for the day. And then an essential question that is kind of an umbrella question for the big idea for what we're learning. Here are some examples of exit tickets. Some teachers use worksheets that you state facts that you've learned, questions you have, or opinions you now have. Maybe it looks like a ticket and you just write down something that you've learned for the day. Or finally, we have students use post-it notes that they might post as they exit to let us know what they're stuck on. These are a type of what we call formative assessments. Practice assignments, weekly checkups. These are the grades that show how the student is progressing. The other type of assessment is called a summative assessment. After multiple practice activities, or formative assessments, students will demonstrate their knowledge. This could be done by taking a test, giving a presentation, and or creating a project. The summative grade holds more weight on the report card. Here are a couple of rubrics. This one is a literature rubric, and what we do is show this to the student. We will also have it available for parents to see, and it indicates what standard we will be assessing for this quarter, along with one of the ELTs. This one happens to be that students will identify literary devices. That's the learning target, the essential learning target. So you can see what they need in order to receive a 3 or a 4. And here's an example of a writing process. So this one's a little bit different. There's learning targets on the left that show 3 steps of the writing process. And again, it's outlined how they can earn a 3 or a 4. So sometimes grades will fluctuate throughout the year. And these are some reasons why that might happen. First, there are many learning targets that fall under each standard. So let's say in grammar, they were learning about parts of speech, and they did a great job of that. They really got parts of speech. So they received a 3 or a 4. In the next quarter, it switched, the grammar concept switched to sentence parts, complex sentences, compound sentences, and they struggled somewhat because it was a new skill for them, and they received a 2. So these are things to keep in mind. Along with that, skills become more advanced from year to year, and new and more advanced skills are taught as students move on to the next grade level, especially with reading material. So what do you do if your child gets a 1 or a 2? Well, first find out if this is a consistent score. If it's just 1 out of many other 3s, it wouldn't be a reason to be alarmed. Also look into what learning targets he or she seems to be struggling with and encourage them to attend reteaching sessions. There are always opportunities to retake a summative assessment if your child participates in reteaching and practice activities. But if they are receiving a 1, that would be the time when you'd want to call up the teacher and have a conference to find out the reasons behind the score. What do I think about standards-based grading? I really feel it helps teachers meet individual needs of their students. It also helps parents see what skills their child needs to work on more. And finally, most importantly, it helps students take more ownership in their learning experience, which is ideally what we would like. If you have any questions further about language arts and standards-based grading, please feel free to contact me or any other language arts teacher. And remember, change is sometimes for the best.